So, Joanna, have you played around with some of the AI technologies beyond ChatGPT 4?
Jasper, because it's
Mm-hmm.
so focused on copywriting,
Mm-hmm.
but played around in the case of Jasper. ChatGPT is the one that we pay for and use. Yeah.
So, Microsoft essentially double dipped or triple dipped. Basically, they invested in a handful of companies. ChatGPT, OpenAI was the most famous one, but another one was called Anthropic.
Is
And
that the image one?
No,
Okay,
that's
go ahead. Sorry, I
Midjourney.
won't interrupt you.
But here's what
Keep talking.
Anthropic does. I mean, they have a program called Claude, and they released it to the public 10 days ago. And the outcomes that I'm getting, it's free too right now, probably a freemium model. The outcomes I'm getting on it are absolutely insane compared to ChatGPT 4, all because of what's called chat priming. And chat priming, essentially, Andy talks, we both sort of teach on AI a lot these days. And a lot of times what Andy was talking about in his talk was saying, we got a couple different things we want to accomplish. We want the audience to sound like you. I'm sorry, we want the content to sound like you, or we really want to know our audience. And there's a third one that I believe is called, you want your AI to be a utility, but that we don't have to talk about that now. But so much of what people do is they'll jump onto AI and they'll just start going. They don't give it any context. They don't prime it.
Yeah.
Claude allows you to put up 75,000 words into the system before you ever get started. So the chances of it writing like you and your brand is significantly higher once I've put in my case notes, I put in my case studies, I put in my testimonials, I put in my top performing blogs, I put in just so much content that relates to how I communicate. And then the first prompt I say is, I'm a digital marketing expert, cough, cough. And then I'm saying who my potential audience is, only reference the materials that I've mentioned before. So that's step one. But step two is that I have tons and tons and tons of video. And so there's a free download. There's a free tool called Glasp. It connects to YouTube. It gets transcripts in 2 seconds. And then I will take today's video and I will say, how many different 1,500 word blogs could you use with the origin of what we've talked about today? It gives me those topics. Now, here's what I don't do. I don't say write the blog because I still don't believe it's ready for that. And the people that are just churning that out doesn't matter. But sometimes I'll ask for an outline, but just giving me, oh, I forgot we talked about this point, and this point. If you just gave that to me, I usually have enough to riff on my outline and then riff on what I'm going to say. And most of what I use ChatGPT for is I talk as fast as I can, and then I just put in there and I say, revise and verify. It'll revise.
Yep.
I use verify in Bard because Bard can access the internet.
Oh,
and so
nice,
it is this very, there's this dance now that was not possible 10 days ago. And it's very, very interesting.
But you won't get it to write for you.
I get it to edit for me. I don't get it. I feel like I would be wasting 22 years of doing this job if I just press prompt and go. Because I'm opinionative of why I believe what I believe, and I tell little micro stories every chance I get. Like the egress story would be, I put those in blogs. There's no flavor to blogs written by AI. There's no flavor.
Yeah,
what did you call it, Andy? It's like drinking water.
Tastes like water. Yeah.
But
I can think of applications though. So tell me if this might work well in Claude. I wrote a web page. I'm going to upload Robert Cialdini's book Influence, and then my next prompt says, "You are Robert Cialdini. Review this web page and tell me what edits you'd recommend." Is that?
Interesting.
That would give us something, right? It would, and a third of it might be garbage, and a third of it might be wrong, but there'd be a few things in there that...
and give me actual quotes from the book that support your idea. You can ask it that.
But the things that are garbage and the things that are wrong are kind of important. That's my concern. And I've been really pro AI since, you know, it became a real thing. This has not been a long time, obviously. Like December is when it kind of blew up, for copywriters at least, and people who write copy. It became everything suddenly. And I was really, really gung-ho about it. But I was, and I understand the prompts. I prompt. It can produce really good things. So I've been excited. But recently, I've been using it for a lot of organizing research into like tables. It does a really, really good job of like making sense of a bunch of crap you throw in there, which is good. So I've been using it to help me as I've been writing this book. But what I wanted to do is I wanted it to analyze text, because it's pretty good at that. Like, tell me how many times this word appears and stuff like that. And it's like, here, I'll count that for you. And then you'll put it on in a table. And I'm really happy with the tables. I'm so happy. So I copied and pasted copy from an Apple product page. And I wanted it to synthesize, like, and to really go through and choose the most frequently used words and phrases, and then organize them in order of appearance, in order of frequency, top to bottom, like most frequent to least frequent, for the 20 most popular words and phrases. And I did all the prompting up front, etc. I was really like stoked about this. And so it produces this incredible table. And I was like, thanks. And then I went and looked at the words that it had chosen. And I wasn't new to prompting it. I know about this stuff. I didn't tell it to also consider functional words being you, the, like articles, pronouns, things like that. And so it didn't include any of those, and you could see it not including the and but or stuff like that. But it didn't include you. And for me, that was like, so I went back and I said, well, does the word you not appear here? And it was like, my apologies. And it updated it. And then you was, of course, the most used word on the page. And I'm like, one, I had to tell it to also include functional words. So then I have to teach it what a functional word is, tell it that, make sure it includes those. And what else am I missing that I don't know, right? That I didn't think to tell it. And so I was so like, damn it, I was such a big advocate for this freaking tool, and then it let me down in this. And so I've struggled to get back to it because of the amount of times it gets it wrong enough that it can be really distracting. And we all know bad data is worse than no data, and bad writing is worse than no writing. Don't do any of the work then if you're going to do it inaccurately. And so that's where I'm pleased that Claude is showing signs of hope. And I'm hopeful that you'll one day trust it to write for you. But I'm jaded with where we are right now versus the promise of this thing. You have to be so good at prompting in order to get the best out of it. Who's that good?
It takes a lot of time to become 20% more efficient. Ironically. It takes a lot of time to make an amazing image in 60 seconds. You know, like there's... I think that the hype cycle, you can just tell like the expectations were off the charts. I just posted a thing about AI the other day. It's like how to take data out of GA4 and upload it into ChatGPT's code interpreter and ask it for insights. And the top comment was like, you know, I'm not blown away by these results. I wanted to be blown away. Like I wasn't hoping really to be blown away. I'm looking for, you know, some efficiencies. So I think that this has a lot to do with what, you know, where we start. It's weird to me to think that you'd really have a strong use case for AI because you're not the person who needs like a little help on, you know, how to put some words together. Like generative AI, maybe for data analysis. I think maybe other use cases or to summarize something that you don't have time to read, you know. But
what do you use it for though, Andy? Because you don't either.
I do not use it to write.
Okay.
I find it, one of my favorite use cases is to have it build a quick persona and then check the persona against actual, you know, interviews when necessary. And then the persona includes like, what are your decision criteria for selecting a service like this? And then copy and paste in a web page and say, what's missing? It's actually quite hard to do, and AI is a good application here. What's missing from this web page based on this persona's needs? Like I did this yesterday for a company that do like, it's like a welding school art-based welding projects for high schoolers. The buyer's the parents, right?
Yeah.
What does this parent care about? Qualifications, price, location, safety. Okay, great. Here's a web page. What did this web page fail to mention? Safety.
Oh,
wait a minute. Time out. Because it takes a real skill to know what you're not seeing, like what's missing from this content.
yeah.
So it's very fast to just prompt it a few times to get a basic persona, and then copy and paste in a money page, like a sales, like a conversion focused page, and just ask it like what's not here. It's like a 5-minute round trip that can sometimes help you discover a major gap. So I don't care that much about accuracy in that context. Bias, I'm not worried about that. But and then I'm not asking it to do the writing anyway.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, okay. And also you can ask it things like, what's the relative importance to this persona? And then you can kind of reorder page blocks maybe.
Oh, yeah.
There are some things about it that where gap analysis for conversion copy on key pages based on a super basic persona. Sometimes you get good insights.
I use it for a lot of things, obviously, but I think one of the things I've been using it for lately is when I'm trying to create a pillar page, I will copy all the text on all of the top 10 results. And then after I've written it, I would say, what is missing on mine that is in the top 10? And so I want to make sure that anything that they have, if it still stays with my narrative, I don't just put it in there just to put it in there. But what I do is I'm trying to say, like you just said, was I missing a critical piece?
Yeah.
And I'll ask the data certain things, like how many times did they use this keyword in this phrase? So things like Jasper and stuff like that will do that. But it's kind of weird. It's like Jasper, and I use one called Phrase. They give you what they give you.
I was going to say Phrase.
I can't talk to it. You know what I mean? Where I like to sort of talk to the data. It sounds really weird, but that's
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you moved on too quick. I was going to say, Joanna, you don't need AI because a master chef doesn't need hamburger helper.
But some nights
guys
you
like
do
me
want to eat hamburger helper. I'll take it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is great.